Presenting the Brick House Podcast. The Brick House. Here comes the boom.
Welcome back, guys, to the Brick House Podcast. My name is Matthew Brick, and I am super excited. Today's Wednesday of the recording. It's sunshine out here in Colorado, finally, after all this rain. But more importantly, let's get into it. Today I'm here with a friend, a really cool person. I'll let him introduce himself better than what I'm doing. But I'm here with Gavin Vasquez. How are you?
I'm good, Matthew. How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah, my name's Gavin Vasquez. I go to youth with this guy. I go to Thomas Jefferson. Lived in Colorado my whole life, and yeah, I'm just here to talk about my faith.
That's a great opening. Would you kind of just tell us a little more of like what you do? And then maybe we can get into, like how did you come into faith first? But
Okay.
maybe tell us a little bit more about like what you do, what you love, what you're passionate about, kind of like letting us know more about you.
Yeah, I got you. So, my whole life I played football, right? Like, it's a big part of me is sports. And it's kind of where I found my faith almost. Because, like, when I grew up, I grew up in Lakewood. And I wasn't really Christian. My family wasn't Christian, like, my whole life. My grandparents were Mormon. But, like, when I was younger, I used to, like, try to read it and try to get into Mormonism. But I never, like, agreed with it or never really understood it. So I was just like, that's not, like, what I want to believe in because I don't think any of that's right. So I moved to Denver when I was about like 4 after my parents divorced. And I went through all years of school pretty rough. Like, I fell into the wrong types of crowds because I wanted a sense of approval from people. Because I always grew up like in middle school, like I was always striving to be someone like who I wasn't because I wanted to fit in. Because like either if it was just insecurities or not being like these other people, I always had this idea of how I wanted to be, and I wanted to be like these people who were doing these bad things. So I ended up falling into the wrong types of crowds and just like not doing great. But once I found like football, everything went upside from that, and I just started to really grow my faith.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get more technical into it, but like, would you say that football was kind of a means of like finding who you were, like as an like identity wise, like I don't know if there was a time before football and then during football and now, but like, would you say that football gave you a sense of like identity? It gave you confidence. It gave you strength. Like, I feel like sports or like some of the things that we do give us identity and purpose. Can you relate with that and maybe even share how that is or was?
Yeah, 100%. Football, it gave me a sense of belonging and that identity, like, because, like, I'd always try to do different things and try to fit in different things, but once I found football, it was, like, more of a team-centered thing. Like, instead of wrestling or instead of tennis, it's more like one-on-one. But once I had that, like, team and had all those people around me to, like, be friends with, and I got that friend group with football, so I started making my whole identity sports and lifting, and that just brought me a sense of identity and a sense of belonging. But before football, yeah, I just couldn't find that. I couldn't find that belonging with people. Like, I couldn't fit in. But once I found football, I finally felt like myself. I found something I love, and my love just grew through it like immensely. And I just started like fitting in so much more than I was before it.
Yeah. And I think that's really awesome that you've had that and that you have that. But when specifically would you say that like you really started taking your faith serious? And it seems like you've kind of like since growing up you've had at least, even though I would say Mormonism is different than Christianity, but you've had this some underlining like maybe growing up of religion. But when did it like really start to become like a priority in your life? What was something that you like when did you choose it to be your own?
Yeah, okay. I'll kind of start from the beginning. So after I moved away from my grandparents, because I lived with my grandparents for about like my first 3 years, like when I was born, and then we finally like got up and we moved to Denver into an apartment, and all religion went out the window. Like there was
Yeah.
my family, like I don't want to like rant about like trauma or whatever, but like it was kind of rough with my stepdad because he was just like always yelling, and it was just like a bad entity in my life. Like I'd always find problems and always find sadness with that going on. And both my parents were drinkers and they smoked and stuff, so I was like not doing great. And and my dad living across the state as well, like only visiting him like Sundays. It was kind of hard for me, but once we moved into a house like in like Greenwood Village like a couple years ago, and ever since then it's just like everything got better. Like my mom completely stopped drinking and doing all those bad things. She got a great job and she's doing very well. And then my stepdad passed away last year,
Oh, I'm
and like
sorry.
no problem at all. Like I'm not mad at him or anything. I forgave him for everything. It was just kind of rough with him.
Mm.
But last year, that's kind of my testimony, kind of. I met this girl, Abby, who I dated for like 8 months, but in the beginning, like in like March or something, like that's when we met last year, and we just started to like click, and she full Christian, like the most
Yeah.
Christian girl ever. Like her whole family was Christian. She was raised Christian. She goes to church. I didn't go to church at that time, and I was
Mm-hmm.
like, and I wanted to grow with her, like, cause I actually like fell for this girl. She was perfect, like in my eyes, like that's all I wanted in a woman. Like she was amazing. And then, so I wanted to strive to be like her with her Christianity and with her faith, so that me and her could connect on a deeper level. Cause like I had these people in my life, like Billy and like Cole, they would also like have that faith. I'm like, I can see the goodness in them and see the goodness they're doing in life. I want that. Like they were good examples and they were representing Christ good to me, and I wanted to grow with my girlfriend and with them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say I didn't take it seriously for like the first 5 months of it. I'd read my Bible with her and like pray and stuff, but I never had that deep relationship with him. I'd always like prioritize other things above him. But I'd say towards the end of our relationship, I really started to get close to God. And then we ended up breaking up in like December, the beginning of December. And that was probably the worst time of my life. Like, cause like I did a lot of wrong. Like we both did. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
a very amazing relationship, but it had its good and it had its bad. But the bad ended up outweighing the good. So rough like 3 weeks, like probably the worst 3 weeks of my life. But after that, I got invited to youth, and then I got invited to church. So I started going, and I found this community, and I found this like love that I haven't felt before with God. Because I started going to church every Sunday for the first time at like the end of winter break, like towards the end of summer. And I started going every Sunday, and I started taking my faith seriously to the point in May I got baptized.
Yeah.
Because like I wanted to give my life to Christ, because I'd already read through like a lot of the Bible,
Mm-hmm.
and I've felt this relationship and this goodness that got me out of that hole I was after I broke up with that girl. And so God just showed me how good he was. So that's when I took my faith seriously, is when I got baptized and realized that he is the only way to happiness and true salvation.
Yeah. And now that you've I mean, you made the decision, you accepted Christ, you've even started to experience like all these things of God, and then you got baptized, right? Um, but yeah, would you share like some of the things? Because like, um, I think it's like pretty like I think it's your testimony is really cool, and it's really cool to hear, um, because like I feel like you go to a public school and you probably have friends that aren't Christian, and you just you're still surrounded by all of it. But if you had to say, like, if you said something to one of your really close buddies who wasn't a Christian, like, if you could not necessarily convince them, but if you could say something, if you could like talk about the things that God has done good in your life, like what would be some of those things that you would share with that person? Like, so kind of give us like some examples that like just how God's been good in your life.
Yeah, that's a great question. Like I have this my best friend for like all of high school is Mylan, and he's a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Like he believes in God. He just doesn't take it seriously really. He's still like does these bad things. I don't mean to rat him out. I love him with all my
Yeah.
heart. That's my guy. But if I were to tell him, I would tell him that here's where I was, here's what I went through, and here's how God got me out of that. Because where I was so dark, so in this sins, this sinful nature, and this sin cycle of just trying to do bad things just to fit in. Like, that's where I was, and this is where I'm now. Now I'm happy. now I'm getting blessed every single day with opportunities and with people. And I found that love that I didn't have before. Like I was comfortable where I was in sin and in this fleshly desires and this fleshly life. But once I experienced God, my life improved drastically. Like every single thing in my life probably got better as soon as I started taking it seriously. And I just tell him like he is the only way to salvation. Like that's my biggest fear is me not being able to tell someone that Jesus is the only way and then seeing them go to hell. Like, I want to make sure that they understand that there's no other way to salvation. Taking your faith seriously later, like living your life now, isn't the way.
Mm.
Like, the sooner you do it, the better. The farther you can grow your relationship. I just want them to know that Jesus is the only way. He gave us this gift to live and do what we want. He gave us that free will, but he also gave us the option to live life eternally with him after we die and after he comes back. And I just want him to know that everything in his life will get better because he has these struggles. But if he has God, then all those struggles can be met through and got through.
Yeah, and that's really encouraging. I can relate with that just of like, and I don't know exactly how to go about it, but like, there's people in our lives, and right now I actually just had like my coworkers in mind. But like, yeah, and I really think it's cool that you had this opportunity to share that with us, because I think I was saying this to someone earlier, but sometimes I wish that I could just take my head or take my thoughts and feelings like now that I've experienced God, and I would just want to give it to someone else. Because I feel like there's so many people that want to like, now that we know the answer, I feel like we have the answer to so many people. Like, yes, we still have questions. I still question like kind of like why this like, you can still see all this stuff and still question, but I feel like as Christians, we have an answer that so many people are looking for, they just don't know it. And like sometimes I just wish that I could give like what I've learned to other people, like impress on them, because like you said, like you've even said it like through what you've seen and looking back and just seeing that God has truly done good. And I think that's really encouraging. I guess my next thing is, what would you say are some of like the things that God has given you? Um, I mean, yeah, you said football, but what are some of the things that like? So you got 1 year left of high school. So crazy! Oh my goodness! Kind of like walk us through just like what do you kind of like? Obviously, well, why don't you just share with us kind of your thoughts on where you think God is leading you and maybe some of the gifts that God has given you?
Yeah, I'd say the biggest gift he's given me is the discipline and motivation.
Yeah.
Because, like, freshman year, I didn't know God. No motivation for the gym, like, no motivation for my sport. I was just there and doing it because I wanted to do it, like, doing it because it was a thing to do. But, like, once I found God, instantly I got that motivation, I got that discipline to pursue that sport and to pursue my health and my faith and just everything in my life that would make it better. So, like, an example of that is last year, at like it might have been like early this year, kind of last year, being at the end of it, I got injured. I got diagnosed with patellofemoral syndrome in my knee, which is basically like kind of overuse. It like just like makes your patella like get inflamed and like you can't do much with it anymore. And so that was like a big hit on me. Like that's when I got like down. Like nobody really knew about it like till now.
Yeah.
But I was like going through it at home, like I would just be like, why did this happen? Like, why is this going on with me? I thought I had a bright future in football, and I thought I could be able to do this, but because like at my school, I squat the most.
Oh yeah.
That's like that's kind of bragging. All glory to God.
No,
But
it's awesome.
yeah. But the point with that is my knee getting injured after being like the like strongest legs in the school. Like that's kind of what I was like. Everybody like knew me for.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of just like know that I'm in the gym and I
Oh
play
yeah.
football. It's like that happening. I was like, what's gonna happen now? Like God, why is this happening to me? I thought I've been growing in my faith and doing all these things. Like why is this happening? And at a point, like a really dark point, I started to like blame God. I should, because I didn't realize, like, my faith wasn't deep enough yet to realize that everything has a purpose.
Mm.
And then so I started going to physical therapy, and I started like taking this medication and doing all these exercises to help my knee. And once it did get better, I felt great. I was
Yeah.
like, "Thank you, God. Thank you for helping me heal and getting me through that." Because He gave me that motivation to get through it. Like that's just like one of my favorite gifts from Him is getting me through it. Like He's with you no matter what. No matter if you don't feel Him, no matter if you don't push towards your relationship with Him, He's still with you. He's still guiding you. He's still with you every step of the way. Even if you personally don't feel it, He is there and He will get you through all the problems that you're going through. So yeah, just him being able to get me through that was probably my favorite gift from him.
Yeah. And I think that's really cool to hear, just this discipline, and even this story of like how, in a way, like what I guess, like one aspect of how you were known, or like, one aspect of your identity, it was like in a way could be taken away, or for a while you couldn't obviously squat what you were squatting, but you can still, it's cool to hear that you still were able to know, and even now encourage others to this idea that actually everything that's happening or is going to happen is all one, like, good, because God, and like, I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, like there's still good that comes out of it even though it's hard. And it's cool to hear that, and it's encouraging. And something that I feel like I also want to add on to that is just like, I really think that, and I know some people, you guys might have heard this before, but I really don't know why. I think sometimes I even fall in this like thought cycle of like, okay, I think I become privileged. I sometimes think, oh, because I'm doing my stuff, what a good Christian would do, then that puts me entitled to all these things. But our new youth pastor, Stephen, encouraged me to start thinking of like truly that like everything that good happens is because of God, but also like we're not entitled to those things, you know? Um, and I know that's like a deeper question,
Yeah.
not trying to like go off topic, but I don't know. That's something that I'm in constant reminder of lately, is like that's why we should praise God so greatly when like God does bless us. It's because we truly don't deserve it. Um which can sound kind of like harsh to hear, but like I think that just shows how much better that God is. I was reading in the Old Testament today, just in Judges, and it's just crazy like what people are doing and what they did, and but I also would think that that's us nowadays too.
Yeah.
We're not so far apart from that. But I didn't mean to go on a tangent.
No, good.
Yeah, but um I guess my next question would be, um we've kind of talked a little bit about it, but I guess if you were to see someone going through the exact same thing that you've gone through, like think of a moment that you've gone through that you wish that you had advice for that moment, what would that advice be that you'd give to someone else?
Yeah, I think if there was one thing I could say is give it to God.
Mm-hmm.
Give the struggle, give the pain, give the worry, give the stress, give it all to God. Because He gave us that gift of His love. He gives us this constant grace that we don't deserve. There's nothing we could do to deserve it. But out of His love, He sent Jesus to die for and pay for our sins, to be atoned for it. So I just say, give all your problems to God. Let Him guide you through it.
Mm-hmm.
Follow Him, and He'll get you through it. He'll bring you out of the rough, because there is beauty in the struggle that you go through. There is always the sunshine on the other side of the storm. You just have to give your life to Him and trust in Him.
Yeah, I think that's really good, and it's simple, and it's harder than it sounds, but I think that's why I think what Paul says in 2 Corinthians, but he says boast in your weakness, because like allowing us to boast in what, not what we did, and exactly boasting in our weakness then exemplifies what God's strength. It's almost like an equation. It's like, actually we did nothing to actually earn this. We did nothing to get this, but God, in doing so, I heard someone say it, but like God's the farmer, and all we're doing is reaping the benefit. All we're reaping is the fruits. And it sounds really easy when we think about it. And I don't know, like, yeah, that if you, what? I think it's Luke 15. Yeah, I think it talks about like, I am the vine, or maybe it's John 15, but it's like, I'm the vine and you're the branches. And it's like, the fruit that God produces, all we have to do is be connected to him, be like this like source. You got any questions for me? Like, I don't know if you had anything that you ever want to ask me. What would that be?
I do. I want to hear
Yeah?
about like how you got into this. How'd you get into
Okay.
faith? Like what brought you to God?
Yeah. So I like this part. This is a section that I do now. I try to like allow them to ask.
Yeah.
And this is actually a question that people ask a lot. So it's cool. But I'll just make it short and quick. But I got into it and I can really actually relate to what you said. And so that's why I think in an aspect, and that's why I'm so glad that I got to hear it. But in a way, all my life I've been just searching for different, like, I've been searching for my identity and so much of that. And I think that's something I can, like, when you said the word identity, that's just like what I like immediately related to. But yeah, just like growing up, being a triplet, finding my own identity like anyone else. And if I'm gonna be honest, I also related to what you said, like doing things for the approval of other people. So much of, and even now, but I would say I definitely have become like, specifically my faith has now become my confidence, has become my, it's allowed me to not as much, and it has allowed me to stop seeking for that attention. But I still fall into that. But yeah, I mean, so much of like finding my identity, and one day, I'm not going to get into all the specifics right now, but just like, you don't have to go through hard things, but I did. We do go through hard things, and I was going through some hard stuff. And like you, someone invited me to youth. Like I had known about God, I guess. I had heard the Christian stuff. I even went to church, but I wasn't a follower of Jesus yet. And some kid invited me to youth group, and that was, like you said, it was the first time I actually felt like the love of God and like love from other people. And it was like a strange little thing because I had never gone to church, never, like really, not like consistently, never went to youth group. Like I wasn't like a church kid. Um, and and then I just felt this I felt this way and I didn't know what that was. And then I wanted, all I knew was the first time I went, I was like, I need to go next week. Like that's exactly what I remember. I don't really remember anything else. I don't remember the service. I don't remember anything. I just remember, man, I need to go next week. And I think that, yeah. And I was still sinning. I mean, there was some shame as I first got into the church because I was like, okay, I'm going to church now, but why am I still struggling? Specifically, it was pornography. Like, why am I still struggling with this? Why am I struggling with lust? But I just kept showing up, and every week, you know, I still felt the same amount of love, and I even started opening up to people, and I thought they would like be like, why are you doing that? But I felt the exact opposite. I started feeling the love of people, love of God, and just more unconditionally. And then I actually was like, all I've ever wanted was like to feel like loved and noticed, and yeah. And so that's basically it. And then as far as the podcast, man, like exactly what we kind of talked about before, but man, I know how much like I had wished. Well, like I know how much like even if like not everyone can relate to my story, I know there's power in my story, and I obviously it's taken a lot of guidance from other people and God to really like develop into what it is now. But man, like I just have this calling of like sharing other people's stories with other people, and so like I just think it's so encouraging. Like even though we're just talking, you've already inspired me, you've already encouraged me, and you're able to do the same for others. So that's why I do it, and yeah.
I love that. That's a really good story, actually. I'm glad we could relate on the whole identity thing. Like, I think that's a big thing. Like, trying to find your sense of belonging and trying to find something to fit in, and God just handing you that with youth group and with faith and community. Like, it just helps you grow as a person and grow with your faith.
Yeah, no, my dad reminded me of this, or okay, this is like basically this is what I told someone else this week. But my dad, I think at the beginning of this week, Monday, he had told me that I went to his office and I just started talking to him, and he like out of the blue was like, Matthew, I just want to say like, and he's actually I guess taken on some of his faith. I believe that I've inspired him in a little way, but like well, it's like kind of I feel like most people who know me now are like, bro, all you do is like church stuff or Christ stuff. But he actually made a comment. He's like, Matthew, I remember when we had lived in Texas, and he was like, Matthew, I remember when and I don't remember any of this, so it's crazy. But he was like, I remember we were in the car one time, and you had said you hate God, you want nothing to do with God or something. And I don't remember all this, but if that's true, like what he's saying, that's crazy to think. Like, bro, how do I go from that to this? But like, truly, that I personally, why I wanted to share that is just like I think that's like a God thing, and like what you've said, like what you said that you wish that you would tell your friend, is exactly. I think we're kind of saying the same thing of just like, man, like look at what God's done in our lives. Like if if you can't necessarily, or like, yeah, maybe that's one thing. Maybe I don't have to say it, but bro, those people who are around you, they all are starting to notice this thing. It's like, following Jesus isn't just for you, it's for everyone around you, because then they see, they're like, bro, why is why is he talking about Jesus? Or like, why is he wearing Jesus saves? Like, what was he saved from? And someone comes up like, well, why do we need to be saved? Like, what's this whole point? Um, and I think that, I mean, and it's really cool because like you have said, you have people around you who just love you, and I think that's awesome. So yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's always cool, but what are you learning right now? If you had to say, like, what are some like things that you're learning in your faith? What are you reading? I kind of the last like 5 minutes or 8 minutes I've been speaking, but I want to hear more from you. So yeah, if you'd like, kind of share with us, like, what are you learning, what you reading, how are things right now? Because we've heard the story, we've heard, some of the back stuff. Now, where would you say you are now in any way?
Yeah, I'm gonna be completely honest.
Yeah.
Like, just straight ahead, I haven't been doing good in my faith lately.
Okay.
Like, I mean, for the past like couple days, I've been getting back into it. I've been feeling good because I prayed about it like a couple days ago. I was like, gosh, I don't feel your love. I don't feel your presence, but help me recommit myself because I know it's there. I'm the one going away from you. Help me come back to you. And so the past couple days has been better, but like, I'd say after I got baptized, straight downhill. Like, I'm just gonna be honest, I stopped praying as much. I had an amazing prayer life. I'd pray like 30 times a day. Like, I'd be like, thank you, God. Like, thank you for breath. Like, I don't even know what I want to say. Just thank you. But like after I got baptized, I kind of found a sense of comfortability in my faith, like that I didn't need to grow anymore. Like I was already made renew, but because I didn't fully like accept that, I didn't accept that I gave my life to Christ, because that was like the whole point, was like fully committing myself, publicly declaring that I love God and that God is my Savior. I just think I fell out of it. I felt like, because before the leading up to my baptism, I was like locked in, I guess. I was
Okay.
locked in on God.
Okay.
I was reading every day. I was getting through like books. Like I reread Matthew twice. I finished John twice. Like I like to read books twice just so I fully understand it. Like in the
Back to back.
yeah. Or like I'll read like Matthew, then John, then like right now I'm in Proverbs.
Okay.
That's what I'm reading now. I love Proverbs.
Oh, that's hard. That's
Yeah.
hard.
Like
Alright.
right now, I'd say what I'm learning
Mhm.
is how to be a better man, like and a better spouse eventually, like how to be good in relationships in Proverbs, because it teaches us like, I think I'm in Proverbs like 15 right now, and like the first 15 chapters was just about like how like seductiveness and giving in to temptation, like it leads to ruin. Like I can't remember the verse, but it was like,
We can pull it up.
yeah, we can pull
What is
Proverbs
the
up.
Proverbs? What, 15?
Yeah, Proverbs. I think it was in 12 or 11. It was like
All right.
it leads to ruin. I have like 30 sticky notes in those 15 chapters. Like I have
Yeah.
everything highlighted.
Let's see. Proverbs 12, you think?
Yeah.
All
It
right.
says something about how it leads to ruin.
I mean, I don't know.
If we can't find it, it's all good.
Yeah, but we couldn't find it, or I'm just not gonna waste time looking through it. But remind me, what were you saying?
It was just saying how falling into that temptation and into those like bad people around you, it leads to ruin.
Okay.
Like it'll lead you to badness. Like it's telling me how like those things can lead you into a dark place. So it's up to you to deny them and run away from them. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, I think that's really relatable. I think, I mean, at least how and obviously you've been learning, listening, or like actually reading that. But I think that can go into a little bit of like who you. That's why it's so important to like who you hanging out with. But then also like you said, going back to you, but like you wanting to grow into that person who maybe like in marriage. Right now we're in a relationship series at church, but like I don't know. You can kind of talk more about it, but I do believe that as a man, like in a way, not in a demeaning force, not in a I'm better than you, but it's like spiritual direction of like, obviously you want to well it says it actually says it in Ephesians, but it talks about how like we should love like almost like love the women like the church or something like that or like so I don't know, but it talks about just like how we should like have like sacrificial love like Jesus. That's what I was trying to say. But
Yeah.
I don't know, continue on with what you're learning and then anything else.
Yeah, I'd say I totally agree with you. We're made equal. Like in the church series is telling us how we both bring different things to the relationship, to marriage. The woman is nurturing and she's caring and she's calming, but it's our job to lead the family to Christ. Like we're the leaders to the faith and to Jesus. Like I'm kind of learning how it's a big part of a relationship for the man to be so in love with Jesus, kind of like you have such a strong faith that you can help your family and help your wife and your kids also love Jesus in that way. And I'm just learning how to be like a big thing I'm learning is patience and like gratitude, because like being thankful for what you have, it just helps you so much. It helps you grow your relationship with people and with God, like showing that gratitude and walking in humility, just being able to this I'm not here because of what I did. I'm here because of what he did, and here because of what Jesus did for me. It's not what I'm doing; it's what God's doing. God has a plan for me, and He's helping me get through that plan and walk on that path with Him. So yeah, I'm just learning how to be a better man and how to lead and how to grow my relationship with God. So eventually, I can find my wife and I can
Yeah.
have a very long-lasting relationship and grow to Christ and go to heaven with her.
Yeah. Um yeah, I mean I think it's so cool. Like that's something I hope to experience like a Christ or like a love like you know, I'm connected to the creator of the universe and someday I'd like to share that with someone else cuz
Yeah.
like I've never been in a relationship, but I want to experience that someday. And I personally believe that like I've never been in a relationship, so like I don't want to speak too much on it because everything that's been spoken into me is from other people, and so that's why I think it's really cool to hear you speak on it because you have been in one. But my mentor told me that, and I just, if I'm gonna be honest, like even as a person who hasn't yet got to that point, he just basically said that like marriage is a gift. It's a gift from God, and I can agree, even though I'm maybe not there yet. And so, yeah. So
Yeah,
it's
I
exciting.
totally agree. Yeah, um, kind of. I want to touch back on my
Okay.
relationship. Um, I believe that she was a gift because
Hmm.
she's the whole reason I'm a Christian now. Like she's the
Yeah.
whole reason I love God and I found Jesus. Even if we did break up, like she's the reason like why I'm here. She's the reason why I'm like this type of man I am because she made me want to be better for her. Like
Hmm.
want to grow my relationship so I can make it last. Even if it had its downs, a big part of why it had its down and had its bad is because me and her weren't in love with Jesus more than we were in love with each other.
Mm.
Like we were too focused on each other, and you need to have God in your relationship, otherwise it's not gonna last. Like you need to both love Jesus, put him at the top of your triangle. Then comes your guys' loves, and then comes your children eventually. But you have to have Jesus in your relationship for the relationship to work. Otherwise, you're just gonna be falling into this sin with each other and falling into these bad habits and these arguments and unforgiveness. But if you walk with Jesus and you surround your relationship around Jesus, you'll be able to feel his love. You'll be able to reciprocate that love. Like love your wife like you love Jesus, or like
Mm.
Jesus loves us. Like it's just how you love your neighbor. How it says love your neighbor. Like we need to do that to our spouse.
Yeah, that's really good. Um, and let me stop me if we're just moving along. But I also want to hear about how like I think this is something that I haven't really asked many people. But now being in faith, now like walking it out. But like what has that looked like now in your family? Like, you know, I know you gave us like a little bit of like brief back history into like kind of like how your dynamic is back at home, but like, now obviously like, we're literally talking about Jesus here.
Yeah.
How has Jesus affected you, and what does that look like now in your family, if any changes have happened?
Yeah, it's a work in progress for
Okay.
sure. Like my mom, she's totally cool with me being a Christian and growing in my faith. Like she supports me through it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll like just study my Bible in front of her and like talk to her about God. But like I haven't like she prays and stuff. Like she believes in God. She just doesn't have that relationship with God. Like kind of what I did when I was younger.
Yeah.
And then it's just me, my mom, and my sister now. But my sister is kind of like way more of a work in progress. Like she'll judge me for my
Okay.
faith and she'll ask me all these unanswerable questions like about like God and
Yeah.
like if she doesn't like my answers like a week ago or probably longer than that she was like if God's so good and he loves us all and he can do anything, why is there war, why is there bad things in the world? And my answer was God gave us free will. Because what kind of God would he be if he forced us to love him and forced us to all be good and forced us to not have a choice? God gave us that free will to do what we want, to pursue what we want. That's why people commit crime and that's why there's war, because people choose a direction that's away from Jesus. But he also gives us that. He gives us the Holy Spirit and he gives us that guidance to him, to salvation, if we choose to do that, because it's up to us. The door's always open. It's just our choice to walk through that door. It's our choice to open it and greet God and greet our faith. But the reason why there's so many problems is because God's going to let us do what we want to do, but he's always going to guide us to where we need to be and where we should be. So yeah, I'd say my family is still a work in progress. I could probably do a lot better job of talking to them about it, but I'm going to start with my mom and see what happens. And then hopefully I can get my sister a little bit more on board. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she's like kind of in that party lifestyle of
Is
that.
she older than you?
Yeah, she's almost 20, I think.
Okay.
So she's falling in all his bad habits. And she has a boyfriend. They have a good relationship. It's just a lot of, I don't want to like judge or
It's a
anything.
worldly.
Yeah, it's a worldly relationship. And I think I want her to be good in life and grow. I want her to know God because it can just improve her life. Because I do love my sister, but I think she needs Jesus. Like everybody needs Jesus.
Needs some Jesus. And
Yeah.
it was really cool. Not trying to plug another episode, but last week's episode, Will Bianco, really good episode because he talked about that. But you guys go watch that. But yeah, so much of his story was just talking about how he has a sister and his sister believes in completely different things, and he's just like, one thing that God is showing him is how to like balance this thing of like, wanting the goodness, like you said, wanting Jesus for her, but yet she's not at that point, and like waiting and wrestling with like, how do I speak truth but also not come off as harsh or demeaning? And so if you guys relate with that, I would say go watch that episode. But it's awesome to hear that you love your family, and what's I think is cool is, like God started a work in you, and it's not just for you. It will connect to you and to your family. And what's cool is like, obviously, like I do believe, actually, with you sharing this with me, I actually genuinely believe maybe it's not now, but your sister will come to Jesus. Your mom will come to Jesus. But what's really cool is like, it's a generational thing too. Like your kids, because of how you came to Jesus now, your kids will probably come to Jesus. Their kids might come to Jesus.
Yeah.
Like think about, I mean, that's kind of cool to think about, and it's literally just because, well, your story, and it's really cool. And it's like a buildup of things. And yeah, yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm smiling because I think it's cool. But yeah, it's really, yeah, I love it. I love this stuff. Okay, we'll keep it going, but just continue to share. Like, okay, I think I tried to ask this a little earlier, but now take us on what are some of the next steps for you? What are what is like, if right now you could do whatever you wanted after high school, what does after high school look for you? What are some of the hopes that you have for after high school? Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
I'd say the biggest thing I want to do is, which I'm kind of working on, like, because I think I prioritize it almost too much
Yeah.
because it takes away my focus from God. But I really want to play football in college. I want my football career to continue out of high school.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm working so hard. But also another huge thing I want to do is lead people to Christ. Because even if it's not like a pastor, but I've led a Bible study or like two little Bible studies at
Oh,
my
yeah.
school, and it's just like feeling that I can be planting those seeds for people and starting people's relationship with Christ. It just warms my heart. Like it's not a me thing, it's not a Gavin thing, it's a God thing. Like I give all the glory to God. God's letting me be able to do this. But I want to continue to grow my faith. Like this football season coming up, me and Simon, since Simon's playing football this year, we both want to help lead the team in Christ, so we can all like be a family kind of, because Christ will lead us into that community and into that like relationship with each other. Like we want to try to spread Christ's love throughout the football team. And then after high school, I want to continue to do that wherever I go, if it's college, if it's a job, if it's my family, whatever is in store for me, because I'm not 100% sure. I know God has a plan for me. I just want to be able to go walk down that path while also bringing people to Jesus. Like just continue to spread faith.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I think it's cool. I don't know, like I want to get to a level as well where I can just be unapologetic and like about my faith, like unsorry for my faith, because I think that's like the next step for me. I'm very comfortable with sharing my faith here, and all the places that I'm very familiar with, but I want to get to a point of like you said, like I love you so much to the point where I don't care what you think. Like I'm gonna tell you about Jesus if you want it or not. And then obviously maybe not push it down anymore. Like, there's a time to stop, but you know, like my hope is like, I just started this new job at a car wash. But I already have a heart for my coworkers, you know? They're vaping and they're talking about hookup culture and they're drinking and all this stuff and obviously like I'm not saying this that they're bad or they're doing this, but my heart already goes out for them because it's like I hear how they talk already, and my heart is like, bro, I wish that I could just give you the keys, give you the medicine that has helped me. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think that's really cool, and I really do see you as like God give like growing you into this leadership of leading other people. Going back to I just really believe that your story, your like everything that God has given you will be a tool for you later, either now and later in your life to like lead other people. And like you said, it's not a Gavin thing, it's a God thing, and the God just so happened to, you know,
Yeah.
make it a Gavin thing.
Yeah.
So I think it's really cool. Um, unless you have anything else, like, final remarks, encouragements, things that you'd want to say to people, any of that stuff.
I have one more question for you.
Okay, let's do that.
Yeah. What's your motivation in faith? What motivates you to do the podcast? What motivates you to go to church? Like, why are you doing this?
That's a really good question.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. You can think
Yeah.
about it, but I just want to know, like, what's driving you towards God, if anything.
Well, like you said, like I think there's there's times where I don't feel motivated, and like you said, like you got baptized and then you just feel like, bro, or or not even that. Maybe I can say I tend to get distracted from my faith. I think that's just something that we can both relate with, and I'm sure other people can. But I don't know if so. That's not like I do get distracted, but that's not what discourages me. I get discouraged sometimes in my faith because I don't see necessarily always God's guidance or provision. Like there'll be times where I feel like God, like, and I know other people can relate with this, but like, where are you? And so I feel like sometimes I feel disencouraged. But as far as answering your question, what motivates me? I don't know if I've really thought that through, but I guess on the top of my head, man, just more moments. Like I don't I don't want to walk my faith journey for the things that God gives me. Like I don't want to just, live my entire life for the things that God gives me and the provision. Like, I actually genuinely want to get to know God, but I do believe that, all the moments that God has provided that are so rich and good, that motivates me. Just because, like, it's like experience. It's like you said, there was a before and there's an after, and now, I want to continue to experience these things that I at one point wasn't experiencing. So obviously, like the things that God provides, but then also just, I guess, the promise of, like what you said, the love that God promises us. It's kind of a crazy thing to think of, but like I was reading, and like that's what's cool about right now reading what I'm reading in the Old Testament. You know, God is. If I were to think, if I was God, like I was thinking like, oh, what I would do, but like God is so justified in the sense of like if you were to read it from God's perspective, I feel like all these things, like literally God time and time again provides for these people, and then they want nothing to do with them. I'm right now reading in Judges where it's literally sin cycle after sin cycle. Literally God provides for them, and then once things start getting good, they're like, we're gonna go worship. We're gonna go worship other gods. We're gonna go build an idol. We're gonna go, get freaky. Like, we don't want anything to do with you, God. And then it says, then they eventually cry out to God again. And so, like, I just think of, like, how justified God could be. Like, he has every right to be, you're done, you're cooked. But, like, man. And then I also heard someone say this, and it was, like, a revelation also that came in my mind. But, like, God wakes up people every morning. Like you said, like, the very breath in our lungs. God wakes up people every day who he potentially knows will never accept him or follow him. Like think about this. Like, for as much growth I believe in, like revival that's happening, there's also people who want nothing to do with God. And I do believe that is because of perspective, but there is evil out in this world, and we all know it. And there's people that just want nothing to do with Jesus. And so I don't know, just like this, like, who am I? Like, I don't know. It's like the song Amazing Grace. My grandpa sings it a lot, but like Amazing Grace, like the wretch or the wrench that I was, or like, I just think of that, like that song, like how so undeserving we are, but God still chooses to love us. And so that's like the love that he gives us is my motivation. And like, I'm not the best steward of that, and I don't always show God's love. I don't show it the same way he shows it to us, but that's my motivation.
Yeah, I love that actually. And I'm kind of in touch about you said what deservance, like, because on the last Bible study of the year, I led it,
Yeah.
and the whole topic, or the first topic, was deservance of grace. And I heard a pastor says, Philip Anthony Mitchell. I don't know if you know him. He's just
Okay.
he's a church pastor in like Atlanta, I think. And he said, "You want to talk about what we deserve? We deserve wrath from God. We deserve judgment. We deserve harshness from Him because of the sin we do, because of the things we say or the sin that we do. But he loves us so much. Like, his love is so amazing that he continues to bless us. He continues to have that forgiveness for us, that constant forgiveness. No matter, because me personally, I fall short a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Like, I fall into sins so much, even if it's just cussing or if it's lust or if it's judging others. Yet I still ask for forgiveness, and I try to commit myself to change because God gives us that grace. He gives us that mercy and forgiveness that we have the ability to continue to grow with Him. He keeps waking us up. That's why I think it's so important to not just thank Him for what we have, but thank Him for who He is. Like, thank you that you are who you are. Thank you for your amazing love and your forgiveness for us and our undeserved grace. Like, just thank you for all the things that you bless us with, even when we don't deserve it.
Yeah. That's awesome. I mean, that seems like an amazing place to just, unless you got anything else.
Yeah, I think we're all good.
Heck yeah. Dude, I told you, Gavin, bro. No, truly, thank you, Gavin, so much. I appreciate you.
Of course.
And it's really exciting. If any of you guys who are watching know Gavin, keep watching him. Keep like, look out for what he's gonna do, and it's really cool, and I'm really glad for our friendship, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is an amazing time to just talk about faith. I love it.
Yeah, just to talk about faith. So, guys, if you like this content, I don't always say this, but if you like it, please share. Send it to someone who you think that might relate with what Gavin has shared today. So, Love you guys. The Brick House Podcast. Bye.